All right.
Hi.
It's time.
Okay.
How bad were you dreading this?
It got worse as the day progressed. So very, very much.
That's funny. I'm sorry. Real Estate for Real, that's a podcast. I'm Eric Pettigo, and with me today...
Kim Elliott.
I didn't have to introduce you. I was getting ready to say my friend Kim Elliott, and you introduced yourself, so thank you for that. No, by all means. Anytime you want to talk, jump in and talk. Yeah, so you've listened to these before, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So you know what to expect. We mainly use this to talk bad about other brokerages in town.
I love that part. I'm going to do it.
Call out our worst clients by name.
Oh, yeah. That's exactly what I want to do.
Right. So let's get started. No, but the backstory. So you reached out to me a few weeks ago wanting me to get involved with CAR.
Absolutely.
The Capital Area Association of Realtors. Is it that? Is it just CAR or is it CAR still? C-A-A-R?
No, it's C-A-R.
Yeah, what happened? What did we leave off?
Capital Area Association of Realtors.
That's
Capital
two A's.
Area Realtors.
Capital Area Realtors. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why they did that because I still say Capital Area Association.
That's what I always say, but then I've seen it CAR. And wait a minute, what did we get rid of? The association.
Association, but ironically, it's an association.
We are still an association.
We are.
Okay. Well,
I don't know why they did it. I wasn't there.
Yeah.
I didn't get to make that choice.
Well, all that should be changing soon, right? Because you're stepping in.
Yes.
As the commander in chief.
That's why one of the reasons I agreed to do this because I'm doing all kinds of stuff that I would never ever do, and I don't know why I keep saying yes.
Okay, samesies. Same boat. I keep saying yes too. I said yes to you when you said you wanted me to come to this lunch and get involved, and against my instinct is to just say no. Somebody else can handle that stuff. I'm just going to sell houses.
Right.
But
you don't want to do that.
I know, and we're going to get into all of that.
Okay.
So, stay tuned, everyone. We are getting there because Kim is on because that was the barter that we made.
Yes. And he came and he did great. He asked some great questions and had some great ideas, and I know he's going to be an asset to the association.
Well, thank you for that. I hope that I can be. But yeah, you asked me to come and get involved, and I said, okay, but you have to come on the podcast.
Yep.
So, so here we are.
Here we are. You may regret this.
Same to you.
Okay.
So, but let's talk about, because it is a real estate podcast, and what we've always done when people come on is kind of tell the story about how you got to this point in your career, like, what were you doing before this? When did you get into this business? That kind of stuff. So take us back to the very beginning.
Okay, what year were you born?
1980.
Okay, it was a little after that.
Yeah.
Well, I graduated in college in 1990 from SIU in Carbondale. So I had a really good time. And I actually got a degree in advertising.
Carbondale's a good time. I had some great weekends there. I had some friends that went there.
It was fabulous.
From what I heard, they were really fun.
Uh-huh. They were really fun, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's pictures to prove it
Yeah,
somewhere.
some disposable camera film floating around. Thank God there was no social media back then, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I wouldn't be in any career at this point. I might be in jail.
All right, well, we don't have to spend too much time on
Okay,
that.
good.
So
we'll move on.
You graduated SIU Carbondale.
Yeah, and then I went up to Chicago for a year, tried to get a job in advertising, and at the time, all the people who were making a lot of money were losing their jobs, and they were hiring people like me, who was new, that would come in, and they would pay them like $15,000 a year. Well, the people who lived in Chicago with their parents were able to handle that. I couldn't do it. So I lasted about a year and decided it wasn't for me.
Okay. And that's what you got your degree in?
Yes, advertising.
Advertising.
Mm-hmm. Journalism specialization in advertising.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. That's really cool. So, didn't work, lasted a year. Where are you from originally?
Here.
You're from here?
Born and raised. Went to Springfield High.
Okay.
With a whole bunch of other realtors.
Really?
In this industry. And
well, you can name them, right?
I can.
Okay, we don't have to. You know who you are.
Yeah.
Realtors who went to high school with Kim. Okay, so you're from here originally. You go up to Chicago after college. That's a no-go. So you move back home.
I moved back home and I started working for my dad. And that was kind of when I decided to get into advertising.
What were you doing there?
My dad owned a printing company for 50 years. So my original idea going into advertising was, if all else fails, I'll just take over his business.
Sure.
And so that was the path that I was on for a while. And then I got offered a job out at Northfield Center, setting up weddings and doing that stuff.
That's where I got married.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. What year? It was probably after me.
2009.
Oh, yeah. It was way after me.
Yeah.
But I was there when they were like hanging the chandeliers and everything
Wow.
at the very beginning. It was just a ton of fun and a learning curve. I've never done anything like that, and neither had the owners at the time. So
that's cool.
It was really cool. So anyway, I was doing that, and I got married, and the guy I married said, well, I like to travel on the weekends. I'm like, well, weddings and stuff are on the weekends.
Traditionally.
Yeah. So he's like, well, just quit that job. And I knew I could go back to my parents and if I wanted to. But I was like, okay, well, I'm going to take my time on this. And in the meantime, we decided that we were going to build a house. And I was like, okay, so I'll go back to work for my parents and I will take real estate classes, because if we're going to build a house, that means we have to sell the house we're in. And I wanted to know how to do it. So I took the class.
Okay.
And I learned nothing.
So that was the inspiration.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And you learned nothing, which is a recurring theme on this podcast.
Yeah.
It's how none of us learned anything while studying to get our real estate license.
Exactly. That's exactly correct.
It's nothing.
Right.
I mean, there are laws and stuff that a lot of that is legal stuff that we should know.
Sure.
Right. And it's so anytime I say we learn nothing, that's not 100%. It's a little bit in jest, but there's a lot of that we didn't. And it's not so much that the stuff we learned it isn't useful, but we didn't learn how to actually do this job.
I think the stuff you learn is the stuff that keeps you out of court.
Which is hugely important, because
Yes.
I don't want to go there.
I've been there.
Yeah.
It wasn't good.
Yeah.
Wasn't good at all. So I've been there a couple times, actually.
Well, we can get into that if you want, but we don't have to.
No, there were very strange circumstances, and, things happen.
Things happen.
So
Things happen. All right. So that was your inspiration to get your real estate license.
So then I decided, well, I took the test and I passed it right away because I wasn't nervous, because I had no intention of actually doing it.
Yeah.
So boom, passed it. And I thought, well, shoot, if I can do that, let's see if maybe I can do this part-time. So I went and I talked to Pat Regan, because I like their signs. I know. I'm very deep.
I like their signs. All right. Well,
Realty One. So
yeah.
So I went and talked to him, and he's like, yeah, well, we just really don't like to do part-time. We're looking for full-time people, and
Fair.
I totally respect that. So the next place I went was to talk to Julie Davis, and she was kind of the same, saying, we don't really do that.
Yeah,
and I was
commit.
walking out, and my friend Jim was walking in to take an offer into Julie Davis's office. And he's like, what are you doing here? And I said, oh, I'm thinking about selling real estate part-time. He's like, if you're going to do that, you're going to do it with me. I'm like, done. So that's how it started. And so I went to work at RE/MAX.
Okay.
Part-time, nights and weekends at first. And I know they were frowning upon that. But that was the only way I could get my feet wet and learn how to do it and still make money, pay bills.
But frowning upon part-timers, but were you still getting deals together?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And when I was working for my dad, I was also in sales. So I was out talking to a lot of people about
you
a
were
lot
networking.
of different things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it really was helpful.
Like, oh, and by the way,
Right.
I also sell real estate.
Yeah. Do you know you can't be on a networking group doing that? I got kicked off of one.
Really?
Yeah. I was in it for printing sales. And I came and I said, hey, I just got my real estate license. And then they called me and said, yeah, you can't come back.
Really?
Yeah. So, oh well,
Their loss.
I guess.
You're fun to hang out with.
Aw, thanks.
Their loss.
That was very nice of you.
All right. So you're at RE/MAX
For 15 years.
for 15 years.
Yes.
When did it switch? How long before it turned from all right, part-time to
Full time.
sorry, Dad, this is what I do now?
About 2 years, I think.
Yeah.
I had a goal. I was working for Jim, and I said, when we get to 5 years, I want to be your full-blown partner. And so we became partners at 5 years. And I had to be full-time because it was very expensive to show up to work, because that didn't mean that I just got half the leads. It meant that I paid half the bills.
It is very expensive to show up to work and be a real estate agent.
It is.
Like,
Motivates you, though.
doesn't it? I don't think a lot of people realize that want to get into the business, and I don't remember that coming up in the pre-license studies. Is
right.
Hey, just to be able to call yourself a realtor, costs money.
It does. It does. At one point in time, I was paying $5,000 a month.
Oh,
yeah. I know.
It shouldn't cost that much money.
I know. But we were doing a lot of stuff. And if it wasn't making me money, I wouldn't have done it.
Right.
You know?
Sure.
So then as time went on and, Jim and I parted ways, and my bills weren't so high, It's just,
so a lot of that was what? Like advertising?
A lot of advertising.
Lead generation stuff?
Lead generation stuff. It was also, an admin and all of that fun stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Expenses that I don't pay.
Yeah. Yes. Expenses I don't pay anymore.
Yeah.
I learned how to do that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
We have the same goal, different.
Right. Exactly.
Different ways to get there. So then, was it straight from Remax to the group, or was there another stop?
Yes. Okay. So I had some dealings there at the office. I just thought differently than some of the other people.
Things happen.
And Jamie Winchester was going through the same kind of thing. And she might have told you about this, but me and Jamie and Stephanie Ferguson and Susie Duff now all went to Nashville. And that's where things started kind of talking. We just started talking about, what can we do? What do we need to do? Do we stick around here? And
so you guys just were shouting shop talk over like a Toby Keith cover band?
Pretty much. And a lot of booze.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. Nashville's a great time. But okay,
awesome.
So it was like, hey, let's
pursue this. Let's see what's going on with other companies. Because we hadn't even pursued anything at that point in time. And no one had pursued me. And I was just like, what's wrong with me?
Yeah.
And so I was at a football game, an SHG game, and Mike Busher was there, and I yelled at him, and I'm like, hey, you recruit anymore? And he's like,
or Mike.
I know. He's like,
he's just trying to watch a football game.
No, he's trying to ref a football game.
Oh.
He was a linesman, and I yelled at him while he was on the field.
That's awesome.
So he's like, yeah, you want to be recruited? I'm like, give it your best shot. Let's see what happens. So he calls me up, and he's like, well, let's meet for lunch. I'm like, okay, great. He walks in, and it's me and Steph and Jamie and Susie and Randy. I think that was it. And he was blindsided.
He didn't know you were all going to be there? He thought it was just a lunch with you?
I didn't know that till later.
Wow.
Yeah. So then he was pretty defensive about sharing what was going on and how to do it and stuff. Yeah, I think he was he didn't know what to expect. And Randy was really Randy Aldridge.
Yeah. No, I know. Randy was being very Randy.
Yes.
Yeah. We know Randy,
which I love that.
Same. I'm a huge Randy fan.
But I don't know that Mike, being in that situation, knew how to take him, which made it very more interesting. So then we all get together and we're talking about stuff. And Susie's like, yeah, this isn't going to be for me. And we were appreciative that, that's fine.
Yeah.
But Jamie and I were like, this sounds like fun. I think we need that kind of change. And so Randy was like, all right. Steph's like, okay. Poor Steph hates change, and man, we drug her through so much stuff.
And where's she at now?
She's in Florida. Yeah, I know. With like 3 companies that she's already been to and doing great and loving life and giving me grief for not being down there.
I'm sure. Yeah,
So-
I'm sure. We're still friends on Facebook, so I see what she's up to. It looks like she's having a great time. So
She always has
Yeah.
a great time no matter
Yep,
what she
happy
does.
for her.
Yeah, me too. And jealous.
yeah,
So.
same. So about what year was this then? And this has been covered because Randy and Jamie, I think, both also told. But
2013.
that sounds
maybe?
right. It was like right before I started here.
Okay. Yeah, it was so fun because Randy, Randy, he was our spokesperson. So I didn't have to say anything when we went in to tell Pat Sellinger that the 4 of us were leaving Remax. And I thought he was going to cry. He might have.
He probably did.
He was just like, what?
He's one of the sweetest humans ever.
Oh, I know. And he had to call Al and tell him, and I don't know how that went over, but we were gone the next day.
Wow.
And the cool part about it was when we came over here, we were all put into the annex. So
Yeah.
that's
The annex was popping back
That
then.
was
That's
so fun.
The annex
Yeah.
was a good time. When we all started in 2014, because let's see, I started and Ashley Coker started like the same time. And then there were a few other agents. Mitch Luster came in after a little bit. Gail Wasmer was there. Mike McGee was there.
okay.
But they stuck us all in the back room and called it the bullpen. And there was just just kind of some folding tables that we had our little laptops on. And so we were all like, nobody knew what they were doing yet. We just started. So we were
Wow.
trying to, play realtor in the back room, just trying to figure out something, but it was really, really fun though. I remember that it was,
Yeah.
and so
What was it called? The frat house. They called it the frat house.
the annex.
Uh-huh.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Because
Makes
we would
sense.
spend all day, we'd get work done, but we would sit and laugh so much. And we'd just walk around, talk to each other. And it was just awesome.
Yeah.
It was so fun.
Yeah, it was cool. And then this building over here, this was like the professional building.
Oh, yeah. You had to dress nice. Not the other one. You could bring your kids to work.
Yeah,
The other one.
yeah.
It was great.
Yeah, it was a wild time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, now we've moved some of that fun over into this building, I think.
I
now.
think so.
Yeah.
I think
it's
so.
It's a nice mix.
It is.
All right. And so that's it. And you've been here.
Yeah, I mean, when we came, the 4 of us came, they had a party for us. They had all kinds of, drinks and food, and Rada Jeezy came in and put our tables and desks and stuff together for us. And
Wow.
It was the best feeling, like feeling wanted.
Yeah.
It was so nice.
Yeah, that's really, really cool.
Yeah.
Okay. And so when you came over then, were you on a team?
No.
You were flying solo?
I was flying solo, but Steph and I were best friends, and we shared an office. And so we did a lot of our advertising together.
Okay.
So it was like we were a team, but we weren't a team.
Okay.
So
All right. And now you're on the Sarciny team, correct?
yes. Yeah. What was it? I think 2017.
2017? Okay.
Yeah.
So that long with Deb? Mm-hmm. All right.
Yeah.
So was it, what made you decide?
To get on a team.
Yeah.
Skyslope.
Skyslope. That's funny.
Yeah.
That-
Yeah. Ugh. I love to sell houses. I love to show houses. I love to write offers. But come
Skyslope.
on, man.
Skyslope. It was a bit of a change. I remember when I started, any contracts that we had, we would just come drop off at the office, come make a copy, drop it off. That was it. Go on about our way.
Yeah.
Then it became, now we've got to load them into this system online.
Yeah. It was too time consuming. All of that stuff is
little
too
bit.
time consuming.
It is.
I just want to go do what I know how to do best.
Right.
And
No.
that's not it.
For people like me who work from home, like I've never had an office here. Once I kind of figured out what I was doing, I left the bullpen
Good for you.
and just set up a home office. I was like, well, I've got a scanner and a printer and the internet. I think I can so I've been working from home since like 2015, way before COVID, before it was like a cool thing to do.
Well, I feel sorry for you because you missed out on a lot of friendships, on a lot of getting to know people. When you have deals with people that you know, you're more likely to have a successful transaction.
I'm making up for that now.
I see.
Right?
Good
now
job.
I'm here every week.
Good job. And I'm not.
Yeah. I go to Coffee and Questions every week. And then I record a podcast every week with somebody else. So, and I'm trying to do the social stuff. I went to the thing last night.
Yeah,
it's very out of character for me.
But you had a good time and you talked to people.
Of course, yeah.
Did you meet anybody new?
New, yeah, maybe. But I'm to the point now where a little bit I kind of know everybody.
Okay.
Which is, for a while, and maybe it was because I didn't come to the office. I did my job. And if I didn't have a transaction with you, I was able to still make friends because I did a lot of transactions with people and we get to know each other. And I'm a pretty easy guy to get along with, but I wasn't here. But anytime there would be a social function or anything like a shareholders meeting, I remember the first few ones of those I went to, I felt like I didn't, everybody was kind of friended up and I was just like,
yeah.
Hey guys, and so and that's my own fault for not getting more socially involved earlier in my career. But now, because I've really been making an effort to come around and talk to people more, and this, I love this because this is something I've been doing forever, is broadcasting.
That's awesome.
So I was like, I'm going to do a real estate podcast and I'm going to get to know some of these other agents even better. And then other people will listen and get to know them. And then now in a social setting with realtors, there are so many more people that I have good friendships with that it just feels better to be in those situations. So I still left in an hour, but
That's all up to you. It's just a matter of being there. You don't have to be there from the beginning. I had to
feed my dogs and
that's okay.
Barbecue some chicken.
But just getting there and visiting with people, and it just makes a world of difference, and it makes you love the business even more.
100%, because I really do love this business, like a lot. But the point I was trying to make before I rambled off onto my whole story in real estate, which is not what I was trying to do, was loading things into Skyslope is still quicker for me to do from my house than running a contract to the office and dropping it off. So, but
wouldn't it be nice if you could just scan it to someone at the office and they can do all the other stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what an assistant does.
And that's what you do now. But Skyslope now automatically sorts and labels each individual document. So all you have to do is scan it into Skyslope.
Yeah, and then you get all kinds of fun messages from maybe Kathy that said, you didn't do this and you didn't do this. I don't like being told I didn't do something.
Yeah, missing an initial on page.
If Tracy calls and says it, it's a much nicer feeling.
Yeah.
So I'll just stick with that.
Yeah, I do always feel like I'm turning in homework.
Yes.
I
know. Did I do it right? What did I miss? Was I talking too much while we were signing this stuff?
And then I get the email that says checklist updated, and I'm like, oh no.
Yes.
What's it say?
I know. I'm like, I don't want to look.
Yeah. No, you're right. That part isn't fun, but
no, I don't like being scolded.
I don't think it's so bad for me anyway that it makes me want to join a team. And that was just a funny answer. Why'd you decide to join a team? I don't like Skyslope.
The end. Well,
that's it.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's also great to be on a team because we have and I think all teams do, just a little group chat.
Yeah.
And so you learn so much and can help someone out, and you're constantly talking, so you don't feel isolated by working at home.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I think that is a huge benefit.
Yeah. And the Sarceny team kills it. You guys sell a bunch.
We work real hard.
You obviously do, and you have a reputation for that, I think, amongst other realtors in town. So that's a
nice.
Good, and how many team members are there?
Well, it keeps
Agents.
changing. It keeps changing. So
put you on the spot.
I think 7. I think.
Okay.
Because Ann just left us.
Okay.
And she hung her license, and so we've got a little movement going on, and we had a gal come, and then she couldn't make it to anything, and she realized that having like 5 different jobs wasn't really gonna work in this industry. So she went back to her other jobs, I believe.
It's hard to do other stuff and this.
I don't know how people do it. And they do, but I just, poof.
Like, I had a similar story as you. I was working with my dad when I started, and that was my goal was to, transition into full-time real estate, but, still be involved there and kind of slowly transition. And it was like not even a year in where I had to be like, hey, Dad, I'm sorry. Like, I got to do this. This is like for the first half of the year, I was not doing anything. Second half of the year, all of a sudden things went,
Right.
And so I said, hey, my phone's, I'm at work for my dad and I'm spending the whole time on my phone.
It's not fair to your dad.
It's not, right?
Not at all. That's kind of how I got to the point of just changing it up. So I can't do everything. And, I don't think it's fair to your clients when you're like, oh, I got to call you after 3:00 or,
right.
On my lunch hour. I can show you a house on my lunch hour. No. We're working for them. We got to work around their schedules as much as we can.
Yes. And then the more clients you get, then you're working around all of their schedules, and you have to literally be available to work real estate at all hours of the day, basically.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is,
it doesn't mean you have to work all hours of the day. You have to be available to.
Kinda.
Right? Like,
kinda. Like for instance, but I've been doing this for so long. Like Joel and I, a couple times a week, will be like, okay, I know it's 1:00. Let's go golf. Let's go at 9. So for an hour and a half, we go golf, and then we go back to work.
Well, you know what?
Really nice.
I'm not going to clip that for TikTok because that will make people hate us.
Okay. All right. I'll give you that. But, if you're working on the weekends and everything else, when everyone else is out playing.
Right. Exactly.
Why not take advantage of some time? And it's all about time blocking.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. And that's what I was saying. You just have to be available for it, right? It doesn't mean you can't still schedule things for yourself. But if you are, like you said, if you're working a whole nother job 9 to 5.
Right.
And every day, that's 8 hours of your day blocked off that you can't work on this.
Well, and how are you going to raise kids? I mean, go to their events, do everything else when, you just run out of hours in a day. So
that was one of my favorite things about this job. And everybody says you make your own schedule, and they're not wrong, but it doesn't mean you don't have to work. It just means I didn't have to miss my kids' games.
I was the exact same way. I love that.
Yeah.
A doctor's appointment or whatever, it's still an appointment.
Yes.
And it goes in just like that.
Right. And always available to whatever my kids needed a parent there for.
Right.
If it's chaperoning a field trip, if it's...
Oh, I got in trouble with that. I can't do that anymore.
Really? What?
Yeah.
I would like to hear what you did. On a field trip?
Yeah.
Can you not tell it on here?
Oh, I can tell it, I guess.
It's up to you.
People think I'm crazy, but... So I was on the bus with all the other parents and kids, and this is my oldest daughter, and she was in, I think, like 3rd grade or something.
Okay.
And I was watching this little girl and this other little girl, and the little girl in the back had a coat. She took her coat off. It had a hood. She took the hood, and she wrapped it over the girl in front's head and pulls back.
Oh.
Yeah, and I was sitting right there. So I don't have the rules that the teachers do.
You do not.
And so I walked up, grabbed that coat, got in that little girl's face, and made her cry.
Oh.
So, yeah, she didn't move the rest of the trip.
So you weren't allowed to chaperone anymore?
No, my daughter was like, never again. So no.
Well, what are chaperones there for?
I don't know. I saved that little girl's life.
If not to step in when needed.
Yeah. It wasn't pretty, but after I made her cry, I felt successful in getting my point across.
That's awesome. All right. Well, we are halfway through, so now it's time to transition into why I forced you to come on here today.
Okay.
So I had it's probably a month ago now. I had Diane Tinsley on.
Right.
And we talked, and it was a great episode. Diane did awesome.
She did.
She was worried about it, but she was fantastic. And we go over all and you recommended that she come on because she has experienced like every aspect of this job.
Right.
Solo agent, team lead, managing broker, brokerage owner.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Every last thing that you could possibly do. And so we talked about all of that, but never once mentioned that she is the current just acting president of the
Capital Area
Realtors,
Right.
which I did not know that she was. Otherwise, I, of course, would have brought it up.
Right.
And she was like, I didn't know how to say. Was I going to? Also, I'm the president, whatever. You know, like, and then you called me.
I did.
After. And filled me in on that.
I did.
And I felt like an idiot.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I deserve it. And but then you told me you are taking over
in October. Yep.
And you wanted me to get involved.
I do. Yes.
Okay. But what made you decide to step up to that role?
I started doing volunteer work with the Capital Area Realtors when I first got into the business. And I started, yeah, because I wanted to know what was going on. I wanted to know the players. You know, I got to know a lot of people at RE/MAX. I really did. But it was nice to see them in a different setting.
Yeah.
Because you get to know who they are. And so I did pretty much every single committee over the years. And I've been on the board of directors probably 3, maybe 4 times. And
wow.
I just felt like it was time.
Yeah.
You know, my best friends have already done it. And so I was like, okay, I'll give this a shot.
Okay.
So, well, I did.
All right. So you've been involved your whole career.
Yes.
Basically. But you're going to step into the big role. So what are the responsibilities that you know of the CAR president?
Well, we go to the National Association of Realtors conference in the fall.
Okay.
So president-elect and president go to that. And John Kirstein is coming up behind me. He's the secretary-treasurer right now.
All right.
Just so you know, for future reference, if at all.
Good to know.
Okay. So, and then we go to the IR meetings in Bloomington in January. And it's really cool because you're learning a lot about what's going on behind the scenes. And especially when it comes to like the governmental affairs stuff and what's happening, what happened with the lawsuit, what new rules and regulations are coming down. You don't know any of this stuff, you know?
Yeah.
So it's kind of important.
Well, I read the headlines, and those are all very accurate and not misleading at all.
Yeah. Right. So, that's the gist of it. We just got back from D.C., which was really cool.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. We sat down with Tammy Duckworth. There's a whole table full of people and talked to her about
Tammy Duckworth is?
What is she, senator?
Yep.
Yeah. It was okay.
I think.
Yeah.
Sounds right.
I'm not all about the politicians. And then there was a guy, his name was Scott something. He's on CNN. He's like the Republican for CNN. So he's the one that goes back and forth with them, I guess.
I didn't know they had any of those over there.
They won. They have one. And I learned that because he was up on stage with the Democrat from Fox News. So
what?
It was so weird.
What's going on in this world?
I know. So then Diane and I were walking along the hallway, and this Scott guy comes walking towards us. Diane, who is a little more gutsy than me, walks right up to him and goes, "Hi, I'm Diane Tinsley. Where should we go to lunch?"
What?
It was great. So he gave us some suggestions and stuff, and I was like, "All right,
fantastic.
Yeah,
That's so funny."
Yeah. And
Diane.
then Ted, who is the senator from Texas? Cruz. Ted
Cruz?
Yes. We went out to dinner, and he was like 2 tables over from us.
Oh, wow.
She waited for him to finish eating, and she walked right over there and introduced herself. Oh, so jealous. I wish I had the guts to do that.
All right.
I couldn't do that for the life of me. I was like, okay, Diane.
Okay.
That was pretty cool. I never would have had that opportunity, and I never went to D.C. before, and so I was able to see some of the sites and stuff too.
Yeah, I've
Really
never
cool.
been. I've never been to D.C. But so you mentioned, I think, the government affairs, which is one of the committees. And so after that lunch that I went to,
Right.
I'm looking at a list. For one, what were there, like 13 committees?
Yeah. There's a lot.
And I didn't know about all those committees. I knew about forums
Right.
because people I talked to are like, oh, I'm on the forums committee. I've been told that a bunch of times by people.
Right.
I knew about like the social one.
Right. Because you like to golf.
I don't like to golf, but I like to hang out at a golf course. I'm bad at golf.
Well, aren't we all?
Yeah.
I think there's maybe 4 people who
Except for
are
like
good.
Clay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And their team, they just dominate.
Yeah.
So it's fine.
Yeah.
We're usually the last ones off the course because we're joking around with people and stopping at the tents and
Yeah.
trying to win prizes and doing all the silly stuff.
Yeah.
So fun.
There for the fun.
Yeah.
So the car golf outing is tomorrow.
Yes.
And my son, who is almost done with his real estate course, is golfing with me and then 2 of his friends. So that's our foursome. And they golf like multiple times a week.
Oh,
So
so
he's-
you're running the ringers.
I mean, we'll see. He's like, we're gonna win. I'm like, I don't know, bud. Like, for one, I've got a blown out knee, so I'm just gonna be chipping and putting.
Really?
Yeah. I don't think I could hit a driver. My ACL is gone.
Oh,
It's all the way in half, and I have a complex tear of my meniscus.
that sounds terrible.
Yeah, it's pretty
How
bad.
do you walk?
Left, right, right.
Okay, fine. It sounds like you're like got to be taped back together.
I usually I have a knee brace on that helps kind of keep me stable, but
Why don't you wear that tomorrow?
I will be wearing it tomorrow.
Good.
But I'm not good. I'm not a good driver. I'm a
Okay.
good golf cart driver, but I'm not good at driving a golf ball necessarily. My short game's all right, and I'll let these kids, hit it off the tee box because they'll drive it way farther out than I would. Never use my ball
Oh,
off
you
the tee
never
box.
know.
Not off the tee
Not
box.
off
I
the tee box.
promise.
Okay. Well,
But-
we're getting better than we used to be.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be even more fun. And
It's gonna be fun.
Ron Duff gave me a hard time. It wasn't at this event. It was one time the 4 of us were just out.
Yeah.
He didn't like it when I would tee up in the fairway.
Oh, you're not supposed to do that.
Yeah, I know, but it's so much better. Ball
Makes
just
it
goes
easier.
So much better.
Sure. Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean,
So I'm
go
kind of
ahead.
getting past that
Yeah,
now.
you can tee up in the fairway if you want. Nobody cares.
So the only one I still tee up in is 8 at Passfield when you have to go over that water. I just can't stand losing the balls.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
it's fine. I don't do it during league because we just joined the league at Passfield.
Oh, look at you.
So yeah, I'm
You're a
pretty
golfer.
good. Yeah,
All
and we
right.
always golf with Kate and Brad Dyer.
Okay.
And they joined a league too. So now all 4 of us are getting a little bit better.
You're so excited. Look at it. All right, but
Okay,
we
sorry.
got sidetracked, which is fine because that's fun. But so I knew about the social committee. Mm-hmm. I did not know about any of the other committees, right? So when I see this form, it's like, okay, which of these do you want to sign up for?
Right. Probably overwhelming.
A little bit.
Yeah.
It was a little bit. And I'm trying to read. But meanwhile, people are still talking. So I'm trying to be present and listen to what people are saying. But I'm still trying to read all these. Like, okay, what could I do?
Mm-hmm.
And so the one that I saw that I wanted to sign up for was the affiliates, the realtor affiliates.
Okay.
Right?
Right.
And so I signed up for that.
Good.
But then I came up to you afterwards and I said, what do you want me to do? Like, you got a hold of me for a reason, I assumed. So I assumed you had something in mind. I said, what do you want me to do?
Oh, I have a lot in mind. I just can't quite tell you yet.
Oh, great.
I got some awesome ideas, and Diana and I have been talking about what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. But, it's not just us who makes decisions.
Right.
So we've got to, present it to the board and see if it's going to come to fruition. And if it is, we're going to run with it, and you're going to be right with us.
Okay. Yeah, no, and that's fine. Like I'm all for it. So you told me the government affairs committee.
It's personally one of my very favorite. That's how I got involved in zoning. I'm a zoning commissioner.
Okay.
And so it's really cool. I'm there. I'm seeing these new businesses come in. I see what people are doing. And, I mean, it's really helpful to my business.
Yeah.
So I know what's going on before anybody else.
Yeah. I mean, that is great. So what, like I told you before we started recording, like I know what I signed up for, but I don't know what I signed up for.
You're going to learn. You're going to learn a lot. You're going to learn a lot about local politics. You're going to learn a lot about what's happening on all levels, Illinois level, the national level, and it's you actually get a say, and you get to ask questions about why things are happening the way they are.
Okay.
And it's so important in our industry to understand. I mean, I know when the lawsuit was settled that I was upset.
Yeah.
I was just like, why are they dropping the ball? What's going on? Well, they weren't dropping the ball. They were trying to save us, basically.
Okay.
And I didn't understand that from getting tidbits. But when you get a lot more of the information, it's helpful. And with you doing the podcasts and stuff that you do, I think it's really important that you know about these things.
Yeah.
Nash Oldenettle, have you met him?
No.
Oh my, he was there last night. But
I know of him, but I don't know him.
he is phenomenal.
I know a guy's same last name though.
Yeah, they're about the same height.
Yeah.
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 So he has really pretty hair.
He does.
He does. So anyway, he is really, really smart, and he comes.
Imagine that.
I know. I don't know where he gets it. Probably his mom.
Yeah. Yeah. Poor Mike.
So anyway, he comes in.
He tries to keep up. He does his best.
Yeah, he does. Sometimes he
it's admirable.
just can't do it.
Yeah. All right. So sorry.
That's okay. So
See,
Nash
this
will
is
come
a problem.
in.
You and me get.
That's not a problem.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't think it's a problem at all, but I've never done one of these. So.
You're doing great.
Yeah?
Yeah, you're doing phenomenal. This is going to be a great episode. People are going to love it. Promise.
Okay.
Promise. But sorry, more about.
So anyway, Nash will come in and
yeah.
he'll give us like a heads up on what's going on, what bills are going on, what ordinances in different towns.
Okay.
Things like that. And it's really important to our business to know what's happening.
Yeah.
Like the rental issues and all of those things. So I just think you're going to enjoy it.
All right.
And one of my biggest goals is communication. And I want to make sure that everyone on every committee is heard.
Yes.
And I think sometimes people get overlooked and they get their feelings hurt. Everyone can't always get their way.
No.
But they do have a voice. And some people are quiet and some people are loud. And so like when I'm at a table, I'm kind of loud. And so, sometimes I don't even mean to. And I'm just like, but what about, And it's not because I'm trying to be obnoxious or something. It's because I want to look at all the angles of everything.
Yeah, but that's the way it should be.
I would think so.
I mean, conversations are how things
get,
like get done and move forward
absolutely,
and get better.
Absolutely.
That's the way it should be. If everybody sits there quiet, nothing gets better ever.
No, you're going to have two people making all the decisions, so that's not going to happen.
No.
So.
Okay. So all right. Well, I'm eager to dig in and learn. I love learning. So
you're going to love it.
Yeah. So
you really are.
So as far as some of these other ones, and it felt like while we were at that lunch, that we need people.
Absolutely. We're getting older. The people who've been around, like I said, I've been doing it since the dawn of time, but there's not that many of us who have,
Right.
You have people who fell in love with the social committee and they've never been off the social committee. The problem with the people who have never been off the social committee is they like to do the same thing over and over and over. So you need fresh ideas.
Yeah.
And things change, times change. There's other way to do things. And so as these older people are, even if they get frustrated and say, okay, I'm done, well, someone's got to fill those seats. And right now, the movers and shakers that are like your age are far and few between. So we recognize that. And we just want to see a powerful group of people coming up behind us that can take the reins.
Yeah. Okay. No pressure.
No, seriously, it's no pressure, and it's not that much time. You know?
So that's what I wanted to ask about, because I think one of the things, and you asked me when you called it, why have you never got involved?
Right.
And I didn't have a great answer other than I don't know. I don't know enough about it. Nobody's ever contacted me about it. I didn't know what getting involved meant. I didn't know what kind of a time commitment it would require of me. How much do I have to actually be involved? Like, I work a lot.
Don't we all?
Yeah, you know what I mean? So it's like, so how much time do I have to commit to, these are these are realtors who are just literally taking time out of their lives to give back to the industry.
Absolutely.
And
to promote our industry.
Right.
It's very important.
Right. And so, it went against like I said earlier, my instinct, because normally I would just say, no, I'm okay. Just, but I was like outside of my comfort zone a little bit, maybe, but this could be a good thing. And plus, everybody, after they've been doing this job a certain amount of time, has feelings about, maybe this could be better, or I would prefer it a little bit more like this. And so if you want to be able to make changes to the industry that has given us what we
Right.
Everybody who does this loves this. If you've been able to make a career out of this, you love it.
Right.
Otherwise, go do something else, because
Right.
it's a lot. You have to devote your whole life to real estate.
You do.
But you love it.
And your kids.
And yeah. And so it's like, okay, so if I can give back to this industry that I love so much, that has changed my life in so many ways, I should probably give it a shot.
I appreciate that. And I hope other people do as well.
I hope so too. And so now it's okay. I'm going to do it. And not only that, but I want to become kind of an advocate to try to get people to get involved.
That's awesome.
So,
I really appreciate that.
I mean, we're all doing this job, but without the people who are doing what you've done your whole career, it all falls apart. We need people to step up.
Right.
And it's real. We're all doing the same job, but some of us have to step up and step in and work to keep making things better for us in our industry.
Right. We all have to be a cohesive group to stand for ourselves, to stand for realtors. So we need that. Yeah.
And one of the things I brought up while we were there, and I hope I didn't offend Kathy, I wasn't trying to, is I said I'm in my 12th year. I don't know anything about this. I don't know what the committees do. I didn't know what the committees were. Emails come through, but I don't click on them because I'm, like Janet said at the meeting, I'm looking for that contract. I'm looking for that repair done. I'm looking for what I'm looking for. I'm usually not clicking on extra emails.
Did you see the 26,000 emails that I haven't opened?
You've got a lot.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's the same situation.
Yeah.
I scan for what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
And the rest can...
Exactly. And so what I brought up, I said, there's got to be a way to get word out in a fashion that's easier to consume for all of the realtors in our area, which I found out were 750 or something.
Something like that.
That's what Kathy said. I said, how many do we have in our association?
680. I don't know.
See, I thought it was 5 something. And she's like, it's 750. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
There are so many agents.
Right.
And I've been doing this a while, and I had no idea about any of this stuff, right? And so it's like, okay, how do we get this out there to as many agents as possible in our area? Not only what these committees are and what they do and what they're working on, but who's on them, right? Because then it's a direct, hey, if I know that, because we all kind of have our friends who are realtors, we can't all know each other. There's too many.
Correct.
But you're almost guaranteed to know somebody on one of these committees.
Absolutely.
And so if you have a question, if you have a concern, if you have a thought, an idea, I don't know where to go with that right now. Because I just learned that you're getting ready to be the president. But before I had no idea. But if I knew, hey, here is everyone on this committee.
There is a list that goes out every fall when the new committees start.
Via email.
I know.
Right. Exactly. So that's was the first thing that came to my mind is, okay, let's find a way. And even if it's something like this, right?
I agree completely.
Where we make some video content and we say a quick introduction. Hey, here's us. We're this committee.
Right.
This is what we're working on. And this is what and like I said, I've never even been involved yet, but I
love it.
This is just where my brain goes.
Because that's exactly where we need to be.
Yeah.
And I know me personally, I'm a Cliff Notes bullet point kind of gal.
Yeah.
I don't have time to read the fluff. That's like when the people, and including me, do the marketing remarks that are the Chat GPT or whatever that is. And then it's all, I'm like, just
a word
tell
salad.
me.
Just a word salad.
Ugh,
Yeah.
Just give me bullet points.
Yeah.
Tell me how old the roof is. Tell me, I would be so much happier because then I could find it. I have bad eyesight because I'm old and I'm in a house and I have the paper and they're asking me questions and I have to go through.
Yeah.
It's a lovely 3-bedroom.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Spacious.
Yeah. Meh.
Yeah. Yeah. And it is. That's been brought up on here a lot.
Really?
Is the marketing remarks and how nobody really reads them anymore. We scan them for the big things.
Right.
We want to know how old are all the major components.
Exactly.
And that's why I had the idea that needs to be something that we fill in.
Mm-hmm.
Roof
that would
age.
Be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
AC, furnace,
Yeah,
water heater.
Just part of the form in general.
That should be a mandatory thing that we fill in.
Are
on
you
there.
going to get on forums?
I don't think so, but Connor
you might.
Sweeney's on forums, and he heard that
Okay,
that
good.
episode, and he said we're looking into that because they heard
That's
that
awesome.
they heard the episode, liked the idea, said they're looking into it.
Great.
And because that would be so much more helpful. There are things that we look for, and most of it is not a wordy description
It's not.
of the house.
It's not.
And I don't think marketing remarks should go away. Because I think people still probably do at home. Like sometimes we'll pull up to a house and my buyer will tell me things about the house that I don't know.
I agree.
Because they've read all the marketing remarks. Meanwhile, I printed off 9 sheets of paper before I could go out on my day of showings.
Right.
And I didn't research every one of them thoroughly.
Right. Because that's only one of your 8 clients
Exactly.
that you're going with.
But they know how old everything is. They know what the countertop's made of. They know what it sold for last in 2013. They know all of this stuff because they've been locked in on this house.
And I love that. That
Yeah.
means they're actually motivated buyers.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
good for them. And I don't care if I look stupid. I really don't. When they say things and I go, oh, it does? Okay, cool.
Yeah,
You know?
I do the same thing. I go, okay, so you know more than I do about this. You lead the way. Where are we going? Yeah,
Right,
That's
right.
fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. But it's for us, for realtors, we need a quick reference.
Yes. Yeah. Keep it simple.
Yeah.
Oh,
because-
back to that advertising thing again.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Yes. I
So
agree.
that's kind of where my head went. There was like, okay, let's make this something that we can get out to people and something that people will actually click on and learn about.
Did you know that there's Capital Area Realtors members only Facebook page?
I did not. Wait.
There's
Maybe
a
I'm on it.
Facebook page, and then there's a members only Facebook page.
Wow.
Yeah, so I think that might be an avenue that we kind of work on trying to
Yeah.
develop that a little bit more.
Yeah.
Just a thought. So there's
Yeah,
a
and-
lot.
The industry's changing. Agents are getting younger. Mm-hmm. And, when was the last time you put something in the newspaper? Right.
Yeah. Remember the Homes magazine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Does it still exist?
beats me. I don't read magazines.
I don't either.
But
Nope.
everything is changing and people are consuming things different.
Right.
And so it's not just people used to read every single email they had and delete the ones but people don't do that anymore.
You don't have time. There's
No.
too much stuff, and spam isn't spam
Right.
anymore.
But everybody watches videos on their phone.
They do.
Everybody.
Reels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody. So there's got to be a way. And some of the other committees, right? So we've talked about government affairs, forms, social,
There's
and
community service.
okay. So what does that entail? Picking up trash on the highway? Is that a different kind of community service?
Well, you can do that. And you can even buy a little plaque that says that this is your highway. But what it actually is it used to be different, but now every year the committee interviews different organizations
Okay.
that are looking for donations. They come in and they tell their story and what they're trying to accomplish. And of these 4 or 5 or however many they interview, they choose one. So then they spend the rest of the year creating a huge fundraiser. And that's our trivia night.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. We just I don't know if I should be saying this, but we just got the number, and it is phenomenal.
Really?
Of what we are donating.
Yeah, you don't have to give the number. That's all right, but it's a big one.
It's big.
Good.
It's big.
It's fantastic.
And it's such a cool thing to be able to do. When I first started in community service, we had a whole bunch of different things that we would do. We do Meals on Wheels. We, just several different things that you could sign up for and do, like the Toys for Tots, the Habitat for Humanity. We did a whole bunch of little things. And over the years, they just decided, let's do one big thing per year and kind of advertise this is our charity of choice. Yeah. So I don't know which is better.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Yep. I didn't know what community service. Well, I just saw that. So that's a really cool thing. So
yeah.
And it goes back. They give it to it's for a good cause, but you also get to kind of throw a party to do it.
Throw a huge party.
Yeah.
And you get to pat yourself on the back and say, this organization was struggling, or you know, and now we've helped them to do.
Man, that feels good.
Oh yeah, we're going to be having, and I hope you can come. Community service and the board and stuff are all pretty much required to go. Not the ribbon cutting, the check when we present the check.
Yeah, the presentation. Mm-hmm. Sure. Mm-hmm. Well, let me know when it is.
Okay, I'll let you know when I find out.
Yeah, okay.
Community service is in charge of that. So
okay, all right. Yeah. And so then the other one that I signed up for, the Realtor Affiliates Committee. What can you tell me about that?
You guys do the Break for Hot Topics that you've probably never been to.
No.
So they do. I don't know how many times a year, because I don't typically
not that many.
Go to
just a few, but
that's when they have like the panel of appraisers and all those different things, and they as a committee come up with what they're going to do and when they're going to do it, and
and that's why it looked like it was something that involves like all the other industries that we work closely with,
right,
to do our job,
right.
So appraisers,
right, lenders.
There's
some
inspectors.
Big stuff going down right now with the lenders. So I'm hoping that we're going to have some kind of information that comes to all of us, so we know what to expect.
You know who won't be there? Underwriters. Nobody's ever met an underwriter.
No, I don't think they exist.
They're not real.
They just live underground.
They do.
And they just try to make everyone's lives hell. It works sometimes,
Underwriters,
man.
I know.
Yeah,
that's a recurring joke on the podcast. That's come up a few times. When I had Natalie Dotson in here from INB, I was grilling her, but I said, they're in a room in the basement, aren't they, where you have to scan your retina to get in?
Oh, yeah.
She's like, they are in a room in the basement.
I think it's old, really cranky realtors who hate everyone. Yeah. And I think they're like, I'm going to go into this
my
just
day.
to mess with everyone else.
That's what it is. Well, so that's the one I signed up for too, because I thought, this seems important, because we need these other people. Like, we all work closely together always, and it's.
Well, and the affiliates are the ones who actually make things happen.
Yes.
Like the golf outing. If we didn't have the affiliates, we couldn't have golf.
Oh my gosh,
outing.
yeah, the sponsors
The
for that thing
sponsorships are crazy, and they are so important, and they have such a voice in everything that we do.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think they feel like they don't have a voice. So I think that's.
We get all the pub and recognition. Meanwhile, they're behind the scenes making
it work.
Yeah, making it work.
I just had a gal at a title company. Oh my gosh, she was so amazing. I had a
You can shout her out if you want. Yeah. That's fine. What?
Jennifer Runkle, thank you.
There you go. Yeah, that's totally
at
fine.
Prairie Land. She did so much homework. I had a house, person was going to buy it, and come to find out that the tax ID on this house is switched with the one next door.
Oh.
So the gal who was selling the house number one that we had the buyer for, she had been paying the taxes on the bigger house next door for the last 10 years.
What?
Yeah. And come to find out, doing all the digging, it was the county that had screwed up. And this girl had learned about it. The seller had learned about it a while back and went through all the channels that she was supposed to, and no one would help her. And so
that's so frustrating.
Jennifer got on that and she got everything squared away. She was able to find the owner of the house next door who lived in Chicago to get the quitclaim deed so that we could close on that house.
Unbelievable.
That, I mean, I could not have done that.
No.
She's a miracle worker.
Yeah. No, good job. And they do a fantastic job. And I know I've had Bev at Cornerstone do some of the most amazing things for me to get stuff done. Like what they do, like in some of these inspectors and some of these contractors and,
oh, yeah.
And appraisers who actually will work with us a little bit, like it's more than just your realtor. We work hard, but it is, we lean on these other people too.
We are a team.
We need them as much as they need us.
Absolutely.
So that's I wanted to sign up for that because I thought that sounded like an important one and one I would enjoy. And so, I mean, quickly,
Is that all you signed up for?
Yeah, just those two.
Okay, good.
Sorry.
No, Nature had this great story about when she first was volunteering. She thought that if she just marked everything, that they would pick and choose wherever she would go.
So
she
she
went
got
on
all
everything.
of them.
Yeah, almost everything that she was qualified to get on, which was way too many.
Yeah. No, thanks.
Don't overdo it. Don't get burnt out. Just, figure out what you love and what is important to you and how it's going to help your business and, do that. And do it well.
What are a couple of the other ones then? Right?
You have member services.
Okay.
Which I didn't really even understand what they did. There's also the awards committee.
Okay.
The awards committee are I think they're past presidents that pick the awards from all the ones when we send, so-and-so should get Rising Star.
Right.
Community Service Award. When we send those in, they choose who they think.
They pick the winner.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. Gosh, I should have brought the little sheet.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I mean, but that's what I wanted to do was draw some attention to some of these because, like I said, I didn't even know most of them existed.
Right.
And so, I want people to know about these and what they do, and if any of this stuff like resonates with anybody, and they're like, you know what, I would like to get involved. I don't want to cannonball in, but I would like to kind of learn a little bit more. Like they can reach out to you.
Absolutely. Please do. Please.
Yeah. And you know where to find Kim's number. We're realtors. Our numbers
There's
are
a
everywhere.
few benches around.
Yeah, our numbers are everywhere. So you don't have to give out your contact info. But yeah, no, I mean, get involved. I'll be there. It should be a good time.
It will be great. It'll be fun. We make the best of everything.
So you take over in October.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Is that like officially when the new, like when did I miss an email? Was I supposed to be at something at some? I don't know. What do I need to look out for?
You will find out, and I think it's the first part of October.
Okay.
You'll get a letter saying, congratulations, you're on this committee and this committee.
All right.
And it'll tell you when you're going to your first meeting.
Okay.
Okay. And the installation is mid-October, and that's when Diane steps down and I step in.
All right.
And it's a whole dinner thing, and if you want to come to that.
I love dinner.
Awesome. Good.
Yeah, I eat dinner every day.
Every day?
Yeah.
You're crazy.
Yeah,
Good.
every day. It's
Good.
one of my
Yeah.
favorite.
I hope
One of my
you can
3
come to
favorite things to do every day is dinner.
Really? Mm-hmm. And lunch?
Yeah, that's number 2.
And breakfast?
Number 3. Yeah,
Wow.
you nailed it. Look
You
at
got
you.
them all?
Yeah. No. I like I said, I'll get involved however I can. So
Thank you. Thank you.
I want
really do
to.
appreciate
Yeah, and
that.
hopefully I can be an asset and not a, hey, somebody shut this guy up and get him out of here.
Not a chance. And that's another thing. Remember how you were... Sorry, I keep leaning back. Remember...
Yeah, I told you before we started recording. Yeah.
I know the rules. I just don't always follow them.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's all right.
But how you were saying before that you would come to meetings or whatever when you first got in the industry and just kind of felt like a fly on the wall
Yes.
because everybody was kind of buddied up. Just push through that feeling, because my goal is to make sure that everyone feels very, very welcome.
Right.
And that they absolutely have a voice. And there are no dumb ideas. I mean, if there are, I'll let you know. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there are dumb ideas,
There are.
but it
I've
doesn't
done
mean
a few of those dumb
you
things.
got to sort through the dumb ones to get to the good ones. So
Right. And
you
learn
got
the
to
hard
just
way.
the trick is you got to get them all out there. So
Just share.
yeah.
Because you might have a great idea that other people hadn't thought about. And that's how everything changes.
Yeah. I'm eager to get involved and to learn more, and I appreciate you reaching out to me
Thanks.
to get involved. That it feels good. Like I think that's the other thing is it feels good when somebody reaches out and says, "Hey, I think you would be helpful here." Right? That feels good. Like, oh, somebody saw something in me because I'm doing this silly little thing with microphones.
You can do so much more.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to have you do so much more.
Easy.
Like, okay, never mind.
But, it's some, and then if that's what it takes, then, then maybe we could work on, reaching out individually to as many people. Like if you know somebody that would be good at this, I need to know what it is that I'm signing people up for. So I kind of need to go experience it. Other than right now, I can say, hey, get involved just to get involved. That's the only way to like make a difference and make things better. But until I really dig in there and see what I'm doing, then I'll be able to say, hey.
Well, like several years ago when I was still at Remax, Susan Madison, I don't know if you ever got to know Susan.
I did.
She came up to me and said, me and Stephanie, and said, we have a leadership academy that we're starting, and you two need to be in it. And we're like, we don't know what that is, but okay, Susan told us to do it, so we did it.
Yeah.
And we had a good time with it. It was kind of terrifying. During the time that we were on Leadership Academy, Channel 20 News called Steph. For some reason, they called Steph. And she had to do this interview on Channel 20.
Oh, fun.
She was mortified. She was terrified to do it. But we learned how to do that in leadership.
Yeah.
And so it really, really helped her,
Yeah.
She gave a great interview.
Yeah, and then didn't you say I have to do that too? And then I think Mike Busher also told me I need to do that.
Yes, absolutely. And then the cool part about it is you go through it and you form your opinions on what did you like, what did you not like.
Okay.
And then the next year, get on the Leadership Academy workforce. So you're in charge of helping change things. We changed it up a couple of years ago. And the first time you do something, it's always a little mucky.
Yeah.
But we changed it up, and Misty Busher did a round horseshoe of what it's like to be an alderman.
Oh, cool.
And so they sit in the seats and they have these subjects that come up, and I guess this last year it was even better than the year before. So it's just kind of fun stuff like that kind of keeps you out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, and that's you have to do that kind of stuff. You have to get outside your comfort zone. That's how you grow and better yourself, and that's
absolutely.
And so that's what I've tried to focus on that at this point in my life. Like, all right, I've got to do things that are, and so far it's been really rewarding, and I've been glad everything that I've done. So I'm feeling like I'm optimistic about this too coming up. So
thank you.
I've got to go. I've got a pretty important appointment coming up here.
Oh,
so
I'm not your most important.
Well, we talked about this one earlier, and you are important. But
I know.
But this could be important for you too. You said you might have a buyer.
Very important.
So you want me to go to this appointment?
I absolutely do.
All right, Kim Elliott, thank you so much for coming on here.
Thanks.
And sharing so much and talking about everything that you're doing, and hopefully we can work together and make things better.
I agree, and we're together on those 2 deals that you're going to be sending my way.
Oh yeah, both of them. I forgot about the other one too.
Right, absolutely.
Smells like cats. Some houses do. Some houses do.
It is.
Yeah, what do you do? All right, Kim, you have a great rest of your day. I will talk to you very soon. Thank you again.
Thank you.